Hello. We're going to get started today on our next session on the curse of the abbot. No, the curse of Ilya. Josh, do you remember everything that happened last time and want to recap the session for us?
Sure. Yeah. We traveled through the road. We
Yes,
didn't encounter anything.
that's
right?
true.
We came across a village, a very humble looking town/village. We were accosted by the guard and burgermaster.
Did you say Burgermaster?
No, I said burgermeister.
Burgomeister.
Yeah, with
You
no.
got it wrong both times, but proceed. Burgomaster.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's it. Let me check my notes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, burgermeister.
Yeah, Hamburgermeister.
Once we established that they had no wine, they let us into the village where we talked to a lot of people. I think we spent the night, and Ramis the Golden is going to. Oh wait, no, he struck a deal with the abbot for the scroll of greater restoration, and we're gonna pay $1,400 dues to obtain this scroll. And he was giving him a little bit of lip too, so we'll see how that goes.
Who was giving who lip?
Ramis was giving Abbott lip,
Okay.
like lip, and the Abbott did not want the lip, like at all.
Didn't not want it.
Mm-mm.
So he did want it.
You can't make fun of Zug for his grammar, okay? He didn't put points
I'm
in grammar.
character right now.
You're doing great. I'm amazed and impressed.
Thank you. Zug is appeased.
Yeah, keep going. You're doing wonderful.
Right, and yeah, and that's it.
Okay.
Very comprehensive, I know.
Very comprehensive, very good recap of some things that did happen. And to fill in the gaps, you with your hand up.
I volunteer. Yeah. Okay, sweet. I think last session was like my favorite story-wise so far. I have 5 pages of notes on it.
Okay, that's a lot. Maybe paraphrase.
So good. I'm not going to read it line for line or anything like that. But some highlights to fill in are when we were at the front of the gates and the burgomaster had asked for wine, Ez had kind of been like, "Are you all right?" Because he looked off and he was very distraught because his last child had just died the week before due to natural causes, which we know is not the case. And then Irina offers to try to solve his death or like figure out what happened around his death and the other children in their line that were killed. We visited their blessed spring when talking to the burgomaster and his wife Anna. And we heard some creepy ass cackling in the woods. That was very creepy. And we also all drank. Yeah, okay. And we all drank from the spring and we felt a lot better. And when we were inside the house, the abbot knocked on the front door and then, what are you doing? Come here. And then he said that he was there to raise the burgomaster's son, Ilya, because his lineage should not die. And it was, what was it? Divine intervention. And that is why it would be fine to bring him back. Nothing bad would happen. And then, so he does raise him and, Nibs, you're in my way. He casts Raise Dead without any of the necessary components. And I'm super freaking suspicious. It's sketchy as hell. and the boy ends up coming back to life. His soul is allegedly returned to his body, but he's being super sketchy, and he's walking around his kitchen kind of looking for something, and then he finds a fork. He walks up behind his mom and he's like, I'm famished. And then he goes to sit down at the table and he's like digging his nails into his palms. And then he looks up and he snarls with a smile. And that's where we ended.
Yeah, that was fucking creepy.
Someone's here. Hold on, I'm hitting pause.
Yeah.
Okay, we've now been joined by Ramis, who is here now after riding sexily in on his motorcycle. That's Ryan. Ramis is here just sitting.
Yeah, fuck Ramis.
Yeah. And basically,
Ryan the Platinum is here.
oh, this guy, oh, he's purring. Can you hear the purrs?
Purring like my motorcycle.
Okay. So we had a nice little recap. We learned a little bit about what was going on. And yeah, we are going to pick up sort of where we left off, which was in the household of the Kreskovs, Dmitry and Anna Kreskov, the burgomaster and his wife, and Ilya, who is now there, raised successfully from the dead. Successfully, yeah. So
Maybe.
yeah. You are all there, except for Ramis, who's not there, who ran out to go and have a conversation with the abbot.
Wait, didn't I come back in? Or I was heading back in there.
You might be heading back. You
Yeah.
might be done with that conversation,
Mhm.
but you are still not quite there, as it is standing right now. So we pick up where we left off in the household. Anna is preparing dinner, preparing a hearty meal for Ilya, who is probably starving after over a week of not eating anything. And we pick up there. So, last you saw, did not snarl, but upturned a smirk at the corners of the mouth, glossy-eyed, holding the fork. And Anna is prepping up some food, and she puts it all on a big plate for Ilya and brings it on over to the table with a smile. She puts the food down in front of him, and he begins to eat the food with a very hearty fork grabs, shoveling into his mouth. And he's enjoying his meal. After some time goes by, there is another knock at the Kreskov door. This one.
Let me in.
It's Ramis. Assuming that Ramis has returned to the house.
Oh.
Yeah. Some time has passed. There's a heavy-handed knock at the door. And it's brisk and it's alarming.
Who could it be?
Who could it be now? Sorry. So Anna opens the door, and without any hesitation, two women rush in through the door, pushing it aside. The first woman, you do not recognize, and she pushes through the door, and she ushers in a second woman, who you also do not recognize, who is heavily pregnant, appears to be in labor. So the two of them rush in, and the first woman, who you identify as probably a doula or a midwife, ushers in the second woman and brings her into the home. The first woman turns towards Anna and she says, it is time. And the second woman is groaning in agony. The second pregnant woman is groaning in agony. The pregnant woman sits down on the couch, and the first woman sits down next to her, and Anna begins to run around collecting linens, cloths, and she turns to whoever's closest to her, Zug, and she says, quick, get some warm water.
I bolt up and I rush to what I think is a sink.
All right, and Zug goes to collect some warm water, and Anna rushes back over to the two women. Anna says, I did not realize that you would be in labor so soon, Demira. And Demira lets out a heavy groan, and she says, the child is soon. Now, as the proceedings continue to go, the midwife says to Anna, is the priest not here? And Anna says, he is not. I did not expect the child to be here so soon. I will supervise the blessed event, and I will offer prayers for health. After some time, the woman, Demira, gives birth to a baby boy, and you are all there to
need our
witness.
help at all.
We're all standing by in awe, shocked.
My medicine's only 2. Wasn't gonna try to help that.
I'm still fetching the hot water.
It's like that for 8 hours.
He put it on the stove. It's not hot yet.
The midwife delivers the baby and hands the baby to his mother. And Demira coddles the infant. And I want all of you to make a insight check.
Demon baby.
21.
Baby lying when it cries.
22.
13.
Ooh. 15 for me.
All of you are able to discern that the midwife is deeply troubled.
Can we discern why the midwife is deeply troubled?
No.
Can I look over there now that I'm sure that she's so deeply troubled? And do I notice anything that would be troubling if I were, say, a midwife?
You do notice something troubling. The baby is not crying.
Is it
But it's alive.
stillborn?
Baby.
Okay, it's alive,
Is she
but
going
not.
to name the baby? Is she going to name the baby Damien?
No.
Can I make a medicine check to determine if I know why a baby might not cry at its birth?
Yes.
Yes. Not good enough. 8.
What is it?
8.
Yeah, you have no idea.
Can I ask what has Ilya been doing this whole time?
Eating his meal. Hasn't even turned to look at the baby.
It takes like hours to deliver a baby. Has he just been shoveling food into his mouth for hours?
Not true. My sister was born in the space of 25 minutes.
No way.
She came out like a rocket.
This was a quick birth. She had been in labor for a while.
This is a village birth.
This is probably 30 to 45 minutes. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. My cousin was in labor for 23 hours.
Oh yeah, my mom was in labor for 24 hours with me. I was a stubborn one.
Damn.
Yeah.
You're so mean to your mama.
I just like being warm.
Makes sense. Checks out.
My mother had to have a C-section. I didn't want to come out.
Same.
She's a cat whisperer over here. Look at
I
this
just
guy.
apparently tore my mom halfway up her belly, so that was my.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah,
Woo.
she wasn't
Yeah,
thrilled
weren't
about
you
that.
the one who just questioned why I was so mean to my mom? Wasn't that just you
Wait,
like 2 seconds ago?
How's the mother doing?
She seems fine, and
She's
she's
coddling
coddling
the
the
baby.
baby. Yeah, she seems happy.
I guess Ramis will approach at a comfortable distance, not to encroach, and say, "It was a boy, right?
It's a boy.
It is a beautiful boy. Is this your first?"
She says, "You're asking the mother."
Mhm.
The mother says, "Yes, this is my first."
It is rare that a newborn should not cry. Kind of eyeing the midwife.
And she says, "Is it?"
It is. It must be a fortunate blessing.
She says, "Yes, it must be the prayers for health."
Yes.
And she continues to smile down at her child and coddles it and rocks it back and forth.
So the mother's completely oblivious right now, right?
Seems happy. She's a new mama.
Yeah.
What's the midwife doing?
Sitting next to the mother and contemplating the meaning of life.
God. What about what's her face? The mama?
Anna?
Yeah.
Anna's cleaning up.
Okay.
Could I grab a glass of water and approach the midwife and be like, "Hey, you did so much. You want to get a breath of fresh air outside for a minute?"
And she says, "No, I should stay here. I should stay with the mother and the child."
Hmm.
And she
Mm.
continues to like look down at the baby
Wait,
with
I
a
can help.
furrowed brow,
What am I doing?
rocking back and forth.
I'm gonna go up behind Syndra and I'm gonna cast suggestion as I say, "Really, you should take a break. That was quite the magnificent display of skill, and I believe you've earned your rest. Go with Syndra. We'll take care of things here for the time being."
Ramis at this point would like to risk terrifying the shit out of this midwife and is going to message her.
Let me deal with the suggestion first.
Oh, that was suggestion.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Nate. I thought that was literally you were just suggesting
Suggestion.
something.
No, he's actually casting suggestion.
And by message, I mean SMS.
All right, so she gets a saving throw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. You can suggest a course of activity limited to a sentence or two and magically influence the creature you see within range that can hear and understand you. The creature can't creatures that can't be charmed are immune to this effect. Suggestion must be worded in such a manner as to the course of action sounding reasonable. Asking a creature to stab itself, throw itself on a spear, or immolate itself, or do something obviously harmful ends the spell's effect. Target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it pursues the course of action you described to the best of its ability.
Yes, is the answer.
I mean, I didn't know the answer. I'm just reading the spell.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Okay. She did not make the save, so she, upon hearing your suggestion, is going to nod and say, "Yes, that is probably an appropriate course of action." And what's happening?
I was just gonna act out Ramis's reaction to that, like just thinking Kane's some just weird, Jedi mind trick. What did you do to her?
And she's going to get up off the couch and walk with Sindra out into the backyard.
As I'm walking out, I'm gonna nudge whoever is nearest to me out of my party and be like, watch after both of the children.
Zog.
It's the
Yes.
best with children.
So do you do best with new to the world as of 5 minutes ago children, or do you do good with children who have just been raised from the dead?
Oh,
after
They're both so new.
I mean, what's the difference, right? Just they both hunger.
hunger.
Zog's good with zombies and children.
Okay. And Kane, I assume is going to like stand near or kind of with the woman.
Yeah, I said we would stay there.
Yeah.
But
And
I
we'll
did
talk to her.
encourage her to go out with Sindra.
Yeah. So you're going to kind of be nearby, look after the situation so that the midwife doesn't feel any distress.
Yeah.
And so she walks outside with Sindra. And she lets out a very deep sigh and continues to look distraught and pace around a little bit.
Okay. So my character's been through difficult birth. So I kind of want to loop that in a little bit. And I am going to kind of approach her. I'll put an arm on her shoulder and I'll be like, it seems like you're troubled. I've been through an unnatural, if not evil birth myself. Is there something here that you want to talk about? My friends and I can help you, and we can help the situation.
She says to you, you cannot help this child. Nobody can help this child. And she continues to look off into the distance and like rock back and forth.
She fucking snapped. She just went crazy.
Why can't anyone help the child? Can you tell us anything? Can you tell me anything else? Or anything more about the birth? Is it the father?
No. It's very sad and quite common. This child has no soul. Very sad.
How does that come to be?
She says, most Barovians lack souls. This is the way of our land.
You seem particularly upset about this child. Is there something different about him?
I have been with Demira through her entire pregnancy. To see the newborn not cry, it was my worst fear.
Is that common for Barovian children?
Very.
So if this is common for those children, have you seen them in another state that you were hoping for? What were you hoping for out of this birth?
Crying.
But if that's a rare happenstance,
The soulless do not lead lives of difficulty, just sadness. Newborns that do not cry, they are all soulless.
Hmm.
Most Barovians, they do not have souls. There are only a few souls in this land left. Once one leaves, it enters a new body. This one did not receive a soul today.
hmm.
It is finite.
How do you know if, or Who was the last child you knew of that had a soul?
I am the last child that I know of that has a soul.
Okay.
She appears to be 35 years of age, 30 to 35. What are you doing? Leave him alone.
What the fuck, Jenna?
She's just like,
Yeah. She was like, "You shut up."
Is there anything notable that's happened in your country in that 35-year timeline?
No, you don't know that she's 35. She just looks
Okay.
like
Just for my knowledge, not Sandra, how long has Strahd ruled? Has it been like hundreds of years or?
Does anyone else know? Because if no one else knows, then the party doesn't know.
Didn't we find out from the story that we were told about?
But if no one remembers, then you don't know.
Centuries.
Right.
Longer than 35 years for sure.
Do
Okay.
you guys have any like ideas, any thoughts?
400 years.
Anyone else have any thoughts?
1,000. An even 1,000.
This year it was the millennia anniversary.
I do think that you guys were told it's near that much, 400.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Good job, Ramis.
The golden brain is what they call me.
Okay. So she's the last one she knows of with a soul. Is there any way to identify an adult with a soul in Barovia?
That's a good question. She says, those who lack souls are not able to cry at all.
Okay. Okay.
Also, Kresk is a smaller town. You toured it. It's a small town. There's not like a ton of residents. So, you know, the fact that she's telling you that doesn't mean it's like super uncommon, but, you know, it does mean that, you know, there, as far as she's telling you what she thinks and what she was raised to believe, is that babies who don't cry don't have souls, and that Barovians who don't cry, who are soulless, can't actually cry. They don't possess the ability to cry.
Okay. So when these soulless Barovians pass, do you know what they believe in as far as an afterlife? If the ones with souls, once they pass, the soul goes into another, what happens when the soulless ones die?
She says, when those without souls die, they just die. They are made of flesh and blood. They are born, they live, they age, and they die. But those who have souls, well, their souls remain trapped until they are reincarnated into a newborn. It can take decades for a bodiless soul to find a host. And she says, that is why those who are soulless do not cry. They only know fear, they know sadness, but they do not cry.
What happens in between death and new life?
For souls, it
Mhm.
is a search. It is a search to find. It is a search to find a body that resembles its form. Souls like to inhabit a body that looks and feels similar to their essence. It can take time. Something you've also noticed is that Demira, who is the mother of the child, is wearing brown garb and a brown apron.
Mm-hmm.
The midwife is wearing similar brown garb, but she's also wearing a purple sash.
The midwife? Okay.
Which is different and interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I am not sure what else to ask.
Can I meddle with McKenna?
Yeah.
How do we identify someone who has a soul and who doesn't, besides the whole crying thing, is what I would want to know.
That was the only way that she
They're
had
just-
noted.
They just don't cry.
Yeah, or they can't.
So we just have to punch everyone in the arm really hard.
Yeah. Or slap them in the face, like in Futurama when they're trying to get Cry to Fry, or Fry to cry out the Emperor.
Try to fry.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll also ask before we head back inside, is there any other way besides seeing someone cry to tell if they have a soul or not?
She says, not always. Crying is usually a giveaway that someone does have a soul. Sometimes laughing too.
Okay.
I do not see the soulless laugh very often.
Very often, so they can.
Esmeralda's fucking soulless. Yo.
And she says, for me, it has been many years. Simply looking into the eyes of a shell is something I have become accustomed to.
Mm-hmm. Could I maybe roll an insight check to see if she is trustworthy or not?
Sure.
Okay.
To get a feeling.
Yeah, I want to see if she can help me out with something. Ooh. All right. 21.
Damn.
Um,
You insightful.
yeah, sort of the feelings that you're getting from the conversation are just like general, like she is sincere and
Okay.
she is distraught. She's feeling like genuine unhappiness for the state of what she's living in and what everyone else around her is living in.
Okay. All right. You know what? I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna ask her. I would kind of lean in and be like, the young boy, Ilya, the burgomaster's son, he was just brought back by the abbot. Have you ever seen anything like that before? Would you trust that he is completely normal? Because I don't.
The boy or the abbot?
The boy.
she says, I have known Ilya for his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Would she not have been like, hold up, that boy just died last week when she came in to deliver the baby?
she probably hasn't even noticed him yet. Just
Okay.
the sheer
Okay.
amount of chaos that's been happening.
Okay.
She probably hasn't even noticed that he's there.
Mhm.
Because she wouldn't be looking for him.
Yeah, that's true.
And she says, it is a tragedy what has happened to the Kresklovs. And she says, what do you mean, raise?
So the abbot paid us a visit maybe an hour or two ago, and he brought Ilya back from the dead because he said that the burgomaster's line would not end there. It could not end there, and it was divine intervention. So he is back, and I'm very weary of it.
She continues to pace, and she says, this is strange happenings.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know what kind of magic or sorcery is at hand there. The abbot is an unusual fellow, possesses properties and powers that I do not understand. I would not be able to know.
When we go back inside the house, would you be able to have a conversation with Ilya and see if he is the boy that you remembered? And let me know if there's anything that strikes you as unusual.
Has Anna not already done this?
I'm hesitant to trust the parents' unbridled joy at their son being returned. And I think it would be good to have someone who knew him as a boy and grown up that wasn't one of his parents to kind of make that call.
She says, I will talk to him.
Thank you.
I'm curious to see how he is doing. And she says, we should go back now.
Let's go.
You also sense from her that she's starting to feel, she's feeling like she's feeling uncomfortable.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can sense that discomfort.
Okay. Okay. When we go in, I want to keep just a casual eye on her and Ilya and make sure that she's not wigging out.
The two of you head inside, and she makes her way over to have a conversation with Ilya. And she sees him and walks over to him, and she sits down next to him, and she begins to talk with him quietly. And she even, so you notice based off of the body language that they know each other. And she even like grabs his hands and is like holding his hands while they're speaking to each other.
Does Ilya react to someone else's touch?
No, he seems unbothered.
Okay. Does he still look like he is, I don't know if this would be more of an investigation thing. Does he look like he was satisfied from his meal? Like, is he done eating yet?
He has finished eating. And
So like shaking and stuff.
he still looks a little on edge. Yeah, he does.
Okay.
And while this is all happening, what are your passive perceptions?
17.
15.
And
Probably not higher than 17. 13.
So Syndra and Kane notice that Irina seems, she is looking out at nothing, and it looks like she's having a conversation with no one.
She's an old soul that Strahd is after. Obviously, we have to kill her and put her soul in the boy. And then if Strahd is a pedophile, the whole land will turn against him.
She starts to look like she's having a conversation with no one.
is she outside?
No, she's inside.
In another room or in the same room?
It's actually all like one room. It's really small. I told you, it's like a very small apartment. It's like
Is she
600
facing
square feet, like the whole
Is
place.
she like facing like a corner or a wall or?
She's facing like the middle of the room, but she's like, there's nobody in her direct line.
Can we tell what she's saying?
No, she's not actually like saying anything.
Just like mouthing nothing?
It almost seems like more like a hum than a mouthing. And she actually gets up.
Oh God.
And she begins to walk to the front door.
I'm a follower.
And she opens the front door and she leaves the cottage.
Can I grab her and like try to pull her back in and be like, hey, where are you going?
Yeah, like what is Ismark doing in reaction to that?
Yeah. Does he see her leave?
Ismark does see her, and not long after she gets up and walks out the front door, he gets up and walks after her. So you want to grab her?
I want to try to stop her from leaving the cabin or the front door. So I would grab onto her arm and be like, Irina, hey, where are you going?
She turns to you and she gently says, something is calling me.
Do you know what's calling you?
Something.
It's a voice. It's a voice that I know. It's a voice that I've loved.
Okay. I don't think it's a good idea to follow that voice right now. I think we should go back inside with the others.
She says,
Could be a trap.
Ismark will accompany me. And she looks towards her brother and she says, I must answer.
Okay. I don't think we should let them go out alone, but I really don't think we should leave Zombie Boy and Demon Baby together.
I'm way more concerned about Irina and Ismark than I am about Zombie Boy. He can go on being Zombie Boy for all I care.
Fuck them all. We just need a scroll. Let's get the fuck out of this weird place.
True.
I would
Make a
probably want to
choice.
follow. What?
Make a choice. You can split up. You can stay in one place. You can follow her.
I guess like Ramis hasn't noticed this.
Well, at this point, you have noticed that she's gotten up and left. You just didn't notice that it looked like she was talking to no one.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't think it was like as weird as Syndra would have noticed it was.
Mhm.
Like I just think Irina and Ismark are leaving.
As I'm leaving, when I grabbed Irina, I probably would have like snapped at one of you guys to like come with me. Potentially, yeah. I've been like,
Probably
God damn
Zombie
it.
was just near everyone today. Ez also noticed Irina, and Ez is also getting up to see what is happening.
Okay. Okay. Either way, I would probably go with Irina and Ismark because that is shifty as hell, and I wouldn't trust them to be on their own. I would probably try to gesture at someone in my group to come with me, but
And will gladly do so.
okay.
All right, Kane is going to go. How about Ramis and Zug?
Zug is going. Zug is tired of babysitting.
But you're so good with kids.
Ramis is looking around and realizes he's the last one left and he'll get up.
All right, I guess we're going somewhere.
Good day.
Okay, so the party gets up and starts to follow Irina.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna whisper to Zug,
Hell if I know.
what the,
Out of that damn cottage.
why did you follow them? I thought...
Irina begins to float almost.
Oh, what the
Not actually float, but her walking becomes very floaty.
So Irina's leading the party.
Hmm.
I think Ramis will shout out and be like, where is Irina taking us?
And he's gonna look back at you and he's like,
Well, why are we leaving?
As we're like speed walking behind her, I want to be like, hey, she was talking to somebody, said something is pulling her towards this voice. Some voice is pulling her in a direction. I have a pair of manacles. Should I handcuff myself to her right now?
Perhaps Ismark isn't the only contact she has had like this with Strahd himself. Ismark.
can you repeat what you just said?
I asked if the contact she has had in this manner was with Strahd.
Ismark says, Strahd has never led her anywhere.
But
Strahd has always come to us.
he is the most supernatural of the beings who she has spoken with, no?
As far as I know, she cannot remember her interactions from talking with Strahd.
So Ismark, you were telling me you were just curious what is taking your sister over, and that's what we are doing.
He says, well, I'm going to follow her where she goes and keep her safe.
Yes.
And he says, and it's nice that you all are coming along too. I feel safer already.
I would kind of chime in and be like, she said it was the voice of someone that she once loved. So
And Mark starts to like scratch his head. And he says, huh. Well, she never loved Strahd.
but, well, yeah, I haven't been able to tell anybody about my conversation with the midwife, but I think Irina might be the basically like reincarnated soul of Strahd's love. So when she died, she was reborn in someone of her likeness. This is probably her.
Yes, and you also remember being told, oh no, I don't remember if you know being told this or not.
Yeah, we remember.
Do you remember the name? Do you remember the name of the girl?
I'm looking for it right now.
If you remember the name of the girl, then if you have the name of the girl written down or if you know it,
Just have to keep waking my computer up.
I would be willing to tell you the rest. I just don't remember if you know this or not, because obviously I know.
I know we know the name of God's like first love.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know do you know the story of what happened? You either do or you don't, because it's dramatic.
Gertruda.
No.
Fuck. That's a name I have written with zero explanation in my notes.
Gertruda, actually, Sindra would remember, is the name of the daughter of Mary, who you found crying in the house, clutching the toy.
Yes.
Hi. Let's harvest her soul.
So if you guys don't remember the story, you may remember the name. So the name I will tell you is Tatiana.
Mm-hmm.
That does sound familiar.
Tatiana was the name of her. And
Remember that name.
You've heard this from Irina, that like Strahd had a woman that he loved, his love Tatiana, and that Irina looks identical to her. And that's why Strahd has been like going after Irina and courting her.
Yeah.
You don't know the story of
Yeah,
what
wait. Don't we know that she's like a reincarnation or something like that?
you have already, yes, you've heard pretty much exactly that she is reincarnated Tatiana.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we're realizing it.
And now Sindra is hearing from this midwife that souls do actually, she's hearing the story from the midwife that souls actually do reincarnate. And it's literally a soul looks for its body as closely as it can. So it would make sense that if Tatiana had a soul and looked a certain way, that Irina would be the reincarnation of that soul who looks just like her. And Irina begins to like hum gently again as she is walking floaty like. And she's leading you down the central path of the town. And eventually, you, after 10 minutes of walking or so, she leads you to the edge of the blessed pool.
Okay.
Irina reaches the pool's edge, and as she does, an image appears in the sparkling blue waters, and you all see it.
Oh, God.
A handsome youth of kind and noble visage. The sadness in his eyes turns to sudden joy. Tatiana, he says,
Uh-oh.
it has been so long. Come, my love, let us be together at long last. Irina, upon seeing the young man, puts her hand on her heart and she gasps. My beloved Sergei, in life, you were a prince and a man of faith. We were to be married long ago. Has this blessed pool called your spirit to me? She reaches towards the water's surface as a hand of water rises up to take hers.
We should slap that hand away.
Yeah.
Reese is down.
I'll do it.
Freeze it. Freeze that hand.
I go in and reach for her hand and like lift it away.
So you pull her away from the water's grasp.
Yeah.
How big is this pool?
10 feet radius.
Okay. As Josh is doing that, I want to do something too, but go ahead and do whatever you're going to do with Josh's action.
As Zug pulls Irina away from the water's grasp, the hand sinks back into the pool and Sergei's image fades. Irina cries and screams his name.
Cock block, dude.
Sergei! And she turns and snaps at Zug and she says, "What have you done?"
Potentially saved your life from drowning. You're welcome.
Kane, did you want to react?
Well, seeing as Zug was successful in preventing any chaos, I suppose I don't need to anymore.
And suddenly,
Oh god.
a peal of thunder shakes the land. Dark clouds coalesce into a terrible visage. A deep, dark voice from beyond the mountains cries out, "She belongs to me." A terrible crack resounds as blue lightning splits the sky and strikes into the pool.
I take a look at her. I point at the pool. I'm like, see? See?
You have just condemned Irina.
What?
Ow.
Yeah, she sucks.
Dexterity check from everybody.
Ugh.
Base dex,
Dex.
Base dex, not acrobatics or anything.
Base dex.
11.
Ooh,
13. Not bad for an old man.
3. I was occupied.
17.
Everyone except for Sindra gets knocked down, and you are all now prone. The blast knocks down the old gazebo as well, and it falls and crashes on the ground. Strahd's wrath has destroyed the pool and the
Oh, shit.
and the blessings upon it. The water that was once sparkling and blue turns dark midnight blue and murky.
Vermees would like to try to get up.
After the lightning's turn has ended, you may now attempt to stand after being knocked prone. So,
Are we like actively in combat?
no,
Okay.
not with lightning. She says, turning to Zug, my one chance to be safe. You've stolen it from me.
I'm still a little like shell shocked, but I get up to my feet and I'm like, how could I have known it was a monster's hand of water?
She says, could you not see the image of my love? And she like crawls back over to the water to look into it. She puts her hand into the water and begins to splash it around. And she says, Sergei, please return to me. And she begins to sob. The spirit of Sergei is nowhere to be seen.
We have any idea of what actually happened here? Like there was a pool with what, Sergei's soul in it?
Well, no, it was the
Or an
pool of
image.
It's an
the
image,
blessed
but
pool, and
yeah.
the ghost of Sergei or something was calling out to her. And once I denied her of them, I don't know, touching hands or something, Strahd,
Blew up
I
the blessing pool.
yeah, but I don't know if there's a connection between Strahd and Sergei.
Yeah.
So
Are they the same person, or was he playing a trick to try to get her to walk into this water?
I feel like I
Yeah.
remember this name from something.
it's possible that you might,
Mm.
and I wish that I knew. But either way, the spirit of Tatiana, the soul of Irina, does know what has happened, and she's about to yell at you. So,
I think Ramis will try to come between her wrath and Zug and stand and say, like brushing himself off along the way dramatically to look as though he's injured and like, do you not see? This was Strahd. This was a trick of the devil.
Irina wipes away her tears and wipes down her forehead, and she stands up and she stands tall. She puts her hand on her head and she says, "That was Tatiana's betrothed, Sergei." And she says, "They were brothers."
Brothers.
Who were
Uh,
wait? Who was brothers?
Strahd and Sergei.
Okay.
Sergei and Tatiana, they loved each other. They were meant to be married. Strahd murdered Sergei and took Tatiana for himself. She never loved him. When he tried to force her into marriage, she killed herself.
Okay.
Strahd's like leaving a warpath of unsuccessful relationships.
Yeah, he's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, if you were unsure or questioned whether or not Strahd was the bad guy here, this
Yeah,
information
it's pretty clear now.
this information definitely helps to clarify.
It's crystal clear.
Unlike the waters.
She says, "Strahd knows that they have found each other. We are now in danger."
I see. So it was Sergei.
But
Well, this is what happens when you try to do good.
Yeah, sometimes intervening with the scary water hand is not the right call. I don't know.
Whoa!
You know, I'll never make that mistake.
No, this is Irina, not Tatiana. It's fucking Irina's turn. You know.
yeah,
Tatiana just like fucking overtake the body just because she happens to be the soul.
Yeah, but he was going to take Irina somewhere safe, presumably.
No, we don't know that.
presumably that's
we
the
don't know that.
sketchiest thing I've ever heard.
Dead.
We don't know that, and Ramis' job is to convince her that that was not about that.
She just like was flooded with all of Tatiana's memories.
Mhm.
Well,
Irina says, "We are not safe here anymore either."
Well, Jesus. Get lost.
We're not safe anywhere, apparently.
Uh,
Poor Irina, man. Poor Irina. And Irina reaches out to her brother and she says, I don't know where I can be safe here. It might be time to make a sacrifice. And as Mark looks back at her with his brow furrowed, and he says, no, absolutely not. I will defend you. It doesn't matter where we go, I will defend you. Irina says, I must face him. I have no other choice. As Mark says, well, I'm coming with you. Irina says to the party, I thank you all for looking out for us, for you have been kind and you have been brave. I fear that there is nowhere left for me to hide. I know he will not hurt me, and he will not hurt my brother if I ask him not to. We are already condemned to live in fear. I would rather face the devil head on.
Perhaps there's more than one way to face this devil.
She says, if you have any ideas, I'm open to hearing them.
We must do more than simply sate him. We must free the land of Barovia. Joining him would do nothing to free the people here.
Trust me, there is nothing more that I want than to be free and for the rest of the people here to be free. There have been attempts. They have been unsuccessful.
Now, those attempts haven't involved us, have they?
She smiles and laughs, as does Ismark. And she says, they have not, but I am wary of putting you all in harm's way, and I fear that continued travel alongside me will do just that. She says, I will go to him, I will face him, I will not be harmed. When you arrive, which I know you will arrive, I will join you.
Irina, you can't be sure of that. Strahd is known for his powers of deception and mind trickery. How are you so sure that he couldn't simply convince you of everything he believes? To put you against us and the people here.
And she raises her stance. And she looks at you. I am the soul of Tatiana. She did not submit, and neither will I.
That is true. She killed herself.
Perhaps fate and destiny are intertwined for us.
I'm suggesting that maybe we have a few other options before you take such drastic and similar measures. We have many options here for allies. We have Van Richten, a famous vampire hunter, and Az here, as well as many others who we know care for the people here who want to help us stop Strahd. Do not throw that away.
I do not wish to throw it away, and I am so grateful for all of you. She motions to Ez. I have no doubts of your capabilities. But in the meanwhile, I am putting the people here in this town who did nothing to deserve this. I am putting them in harm's way.
That we shall leave this town.
If I continue to travel with you, I will continue to be a burden.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
meta
but
here.
maybe
For a second. Have you already? Am I fruitlessly doing this right now, Danny? Because I don't want to prolong this for.
It's not fruitless, but like she's speaking the truth.
Yeah, but I think
If you
I
wanted
think
to convince her to
we
stay,
know too.
you can.
Offer my body, Nate. It's the only thing she'll accept.
She's telling you, like, she doesn't want to keep slowing you down.
I feel like I've
no,
told
there's
her
no-
4
there's
different
no
ways that we don't think that is going to happen. We think
Yeah.
literally her doing that will be more of a problem and hurdle. for us.
We don't want her to join because we fear that it will like embolden Strahd. It will empower him further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I'll kind of chime in just as another voice and just be
Yeah.
like, don't do this. Stay with us. We can keep you safe. You're not a burden. You're part of our squad.
You're our lucky charm. Maybe I'll get to see battle one day if I stick around you.
As long as Strahd doesn't possess you, we have something he wants.
Mhm.
We have a degree of power over him.
We can use you.
Just when she was about to forgive you.
There's that strong charisma rolling in there.
We can use you.
No, Patrick. Shh.
You're gonna chime in?
Oh, just adding to the cacophony.
Okay.
Yeah.
She turns to her brother and back to the party, and she says, I'm deeply moved by your dedication and the goodness that I see in all of you. Turns back to Ismark. What do you think? Ismark says, it will be dangerous on the road, but I trust this group with my life.
Perhaps we've made a mistake in the past in not having you take a bigger role in our efforts. I think it's clear that we could use your assistance on a more regular basis. Perhaps we should stay together instead of ferreting you off to an inn.
Irina says, I have a condition. She looks at Zug. Zug looks back. She says, you will teach me to use this. And she puts her hand on her sheathed sword.
Oh, gladly. I am a master at arms when it comes to arms.
Irina, perhaps you may not know, but you have several teachers at your disposal.
She says, no, it has to be him.
Okay.
I will be the best fit.
Zug certainly has a certain method.
Yes, he's actually slightly stronger than me. And Kane holds
That's
up his arm, weak,
like a
feebly.
huge bicep. He's like,
I sidle up along Kane. I just try to like eclipse his arm. And it just doesn't. It's like
it's not like super strong. He's like just big and husky, so no muscle actually.
it's just dinner lady arms.
Irina says, he is the one who took away my safety, and so he will return it.
Oh, well, that took a turn, didn't it?
Consider yourself my pupil, my squire.
Irina, it stands to reason that if you were reincarnated, that perhaps with some exploration we may find Sergei in another way.
The love that Tatiana and Sergei shared was intense and unbreakable. If the feeling that I have inside is anywhere near what those two shared, I have no doubt that he will attempt to find her again.
And I won't get in your way of any watery hands. No matter how sweaty they are.
She says, I understand that you were trying to protect me. You are forgiven, but you will still teach me.
I'll teach you all right.
Oh, God.
Okay. So Irina says, we should probably go check on Ilya.
Oh,
Solid
yes.
call. Yes.
That is a good idea.
Yes.
Do we have reason to be concerned about an undead boy?
We have many reasons to be concerned, Ramis. We must triage.
That was a joke, Kane. Let's go back.
And you guys head back to the cottage.
Everyone's dead.
That's what I was thinking. Blood all over the walls.
You would think that, Syndra.
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Seen it before. Ramis.
You head back to the cottage. You open the front door of the cottage. It's locked. You can't open it.
Lockpick.
Lockpick. I'll pick that. I'll pick the shit out of that lock.
You could not. Nope, you can lockpick.
Ramis will knock while Syndra lockpicks.
Can I sneak around to the back? Wasn't there a back door?
Yes.
Or was it only the front door?
There is a back door that leads out to the backyard.
I want to sneak out to the back door.
All right, so Syndra, you head around the house.
Mhm.
And as you walk by, you actually notice a window. On the side of the house, there's a window that is open. Curtains are open, and you can see in. And upon looking inside the house, you see the midwife who is sitting next to Ilya and sitting next to Demira, who's the mother, and the newborn boy.
Mm-hmm.
And you see Anna. Anna is scrambling around, still doing chores.
Still alive. Love it. Great.
You don't see Dimitri anywhere, though.
Okay.
The Burgermaster's Sergei.
Burgomaster is Dimitri.
Is Sergei.
Reincarnated?
Sergei.
Oh
Both
God, I
sound
hope
twist.
not.
European to me.
That is not the kind of twist I want.
That'd be a very weird love rhombus.
Yeah, it would be a rhombus more than a.
Pentagon.
Yeah, I don't think I would miss it much if Isaac was no longer amongst the walking.
Mm.
Notice how I said walking specifically. I don't want him capable of moving, even dead or otherwise.
Mm. I guess I'll go up to the back door and knock.
So Sindra heads over to the back door, and the back door is also locked.
We're knocking on both sides.
Yeah.
Has Ramis had a response yet?
So you're knocking on the front door, and now Sindra is at the back door
They're like, oh God, what's happening?
and knocking. And
We're not weird.
Nah.
nobody is answering.
I want to run back to the window and see if there's any reaction to the knocks.
You run back over to the window.
Like a
And-
puppy.
This time, as you run up to the window and you get closer to it, because you kind of were just observing through the window, now you get a little closer to the window, which means you can actually see further in. You can see more ground space that's closer to where you are. And you see red spatterings on the floor.
Oh, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Did they all eat Dimitri?
That was my conclusion as well.
And the second time that you look in, you can see more clearly now that you are closer to the window, the expressions on the faces of those who are sitting inside.
Yep.
And it is stunned horror.
You don't say.
And they're all stunned in horror.
Yep.
That god darn monster. Should have killed him first. Just
Wait.
real quick, you know?
Could I maybe do perception? Do I even need to roll to like see what's actually going on?
Ramis like has his hand on the door and he's trying to message the midwife. And does he have like no response?
You put your hand on the door, and how does message work? Explain to me.
So I can whisper a message, the target, and only the target hears the message and can reply in a whisper that only I can hear.
So
Why are you not opening the door?
you whisper a message to the midwife,
Yeah.
and the midwife whispers back.
Sorry. Sorry.
And the whisper is a cry whisper. And she cries. He killed him. He killed him. And with that,
Jesus.
Killed whom?
We don't know.
next time on
The curse of cannibalism.